Hello, I'm Dr. Rebecca Everly. I'm an instructor at Kansas State University, and I would like to talk to you about having a plan B, or maybe C, D, E. Um, we've all had those days when we have very meticulously planned a lesson. We spent time, maybe an hour, 2 hours, everything just right. We found the perfect video. We found the perfect little picture to add it up. And we walk into the classroom. We're feeling very confident. And something goes horribly wrong. So what do you do? Cry? I know sometimes that's what I feel like doing, but no, that's not what we can do. So I want to talk to you about some options that you can do, maybe a little pre-planning, because it's going to happen. I love technology. I love using technology right now. You can see on my green screen, I look like I'm outside. So when it's working right, it can be great. But unfortunately for all of us, it does not always work correctly, right? Maybe 95% of the time it works right, 5% wrong, if we're lucky. So I want to start out here with a couple of great quotes I found. So the first one is actually from Taylor Swift. If you like Taylor Swift. It says, just because you made a good plan doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, right? I know one time I spent an hour and a half, I think, making this awesome Kahoot game to do a vocabulary review, and I thought, great, I'm getting to class, my students, we're going to play this Kahoot game. And this is an online class, so I don't have that many students to begin with, but you know how many students showed up for that class? One student showed up. You play Kahoot with one student, it's really hard. It doesn't work. And I was like, great. So not only did I spend a bunch of time planning, but now I'm like, what am I going to do for part of the class? Because I had planned on spending, 15 minutes playing this Kahoot. So what am I going to do? The next quote is actually from a comic book villain. Even in comic books, right? The plan never goes as you want it to be. So he said, there are only 4 rules you need to remember. Make the plan. Execute the plan. Expect the plan to go off the rails. Throw away the plan, right? Okay. So always be prepared that something might not go the way it's supposed to. All right. So the big thing is, it's not working. What do I do? Panic. No. Don't panic, right? Don't panic. Take a deep breath. I know sometimes we want to throw a computer or something out the window, but you cannot do that. Cannot. So take a deep breath. Don't panic. All right. We'll figure it out. So what can we do? So here I've got some options for you. The first, of course, is try a quick fix. Sometimes jiggling a cord will work. Sometimes turning it off, turning it back on, those things work. But don't spend really more than 2 or 3 minutes trying to fix the problem. If you spend longer than that, you start losing students, you lose class time. So that's when we move on to our plan B. And some things, if you think, oh, this might work, during those 2 or 3 minutes, you can try engaging the students, maybe talking to them, asking them some questions, right? Talk about the video you're going to watch or the picture you're going to talk about, or things like that. Sometimes you realize you need a longer fix, right? Maybe you need to restart your computer. Maybe the internet has decided to stop working. You don't know. If you think you're gonna need longer, one quick fix is to change the order of the class. Maybe you were gonna watch the video and then you were gonna do something from the book. Well, just flip-flop, right? Do the book first and then the video. And while you're going through the book, you can be, restarting your computer, you can be checking, maybe texting IT. I've had to call IT before, and they actually had to reset something, not even in my room. They had to go somewhere in another building and reset something. I was like, that's a new problem. That's another thing. It always seems to be a different problem, right? Like you plan and you think, okay, if I have this problem, then it'll be this. But then what happens is you get a new problem and you're like, why is this a problem, right? So be prepared, just right, mentally, maybe not when you're live, but just mentally be prepared for a new type of problem. Because even I've been teaching at K-State for 12 years and I still get new problems. I'm like, I didn't know that could happen. So, okay. Next thing is to put programs you're using on multiple devices. So for example, if you are using Zoom, like I am right now to record this, I have Zoom on my laptop computer. I have Zoom on my phone, right? I have Zoom on my iPad. So that if something happens, for example, I was using Zoom the other day on my laptop and didn't realize that it wasn't plugged in. So suddenly the battery went, I'm out of power. Oh. So real quick, because I was like, where's the power cord? I grabbed my phone, I hit my Zoom app, I got back in with my class. Less than a minute, well, maybe a minute. But my students were there, because that's one thing. You also have to give your students the expectation that when you're using technology in an online class, whatever you're using, things might not happen correctly. Internets go out, power goes off. We had that happen a few weeks ago. They were working, a squirrel hit the transformer and took out power to about a third of our city for like 2 hours. Things happen. That's why I like my cell phone, right? I can use data. I don't need the internet on it. I usually keep it charged. Keep your phone charged. That's also important. As a teacher. So, I had my phone. I was able to get right back on and with my class while I'm hunting for my power cord. It worked. So multiple devices. Same thing when you save something, save it multiple places. Maybe save it in a Dropbox, save it onto your desktop computer. Because if it's on like your Dropbox and you have your Dropbox on your phone, if you have to teach from your phone, you can get to it. You can get to it from your laptop. If you have to borrow a friend's laptop, you can log in and get onto it there. So it can really help you out. So one thing that can happen is sometimes you want to go watch a video and you check the video's there, it plays perfectly. And then 2 or 3 days later, when you go to teach your class, the video's gone. You get this little picture, right, that's down there. It says, this video's been removed. And you're like, so know the name of your video, because sometimes you can type it in real quick into YouTube and someone else has put it on. It's really helpful. Also, if you can, download videos to your computer, right? Download, that way you don't have to rely on it being there on the internet. I try to always have things already downloaded and saved on the, not even in the, the documents, but on the desktop, so that I can very quickly just click on it, or already have it open even when I go to class, when I'm ready to go. When I share a video, right? Share screen, it's already there. And lastly, bookmarks. Okay, so bookmarks are great. So I want to show you real quick some of my bookmarks. There we go. So some bookmarks that I have found to be very helpful. Quizlet, so that when I'm in class, I can just share screen on Zoom and pop into Quizlet real quick and see what we're doing. My class has an account. We're doing some fun things. Kahoot, right? Kahoots are always fun to play. So you can pop over there real quick. And this is a dictionary. So if we're talking about the definition of a word, I can look it up real quick, show them what it is. I like the Merriam-Webster Learner's Dictionary. So Merriam-Webster is an American company. It's going to give us an American definition. And the Learner's Dictionary is actually for English language learners. So the definitions are a little simpler to understand. So I always look here first. Google Images, when you're trying to teach a word, sometimes you're like, what is a flamingo? And they're like, you're trying to explain what it is, but you can take 2 seconds. Flamingo. Oh, okay, that's what it is, real easy. I also keep my Zoom up here. K-State has a Zoom so that I don't have to look for it. It's always right there, right? And finally, YouTube, because they have some great videos, right? You can just click on them real quick and see what's easy. So if you have them right there up at the top, you're not spending time searching. And if something throws you off, suddenly there's a question, an unfamiliar vocabulary word, or, oh, let's go to Quizlet and look at this. You don't have to spend that kind of time. There's always one, right? There's always one student who's doing the wrong thing, going the wrong way, can't open a file, can't figure out how to download something or upload something. And it's never the same student, right? For this assignment, it's one student. For a different assignment, it's a different student. So be flexible, right? You need to be flexible with dates, with quizzes. Sometimes we're all trying to figure things out online. So be flexible. Now, if it's the same student who keeps having the same problem, you might be a little less flexible with them. And also give students, again, give them a plan B, a plan C, give them multiple ways to turn in an assignment or multiple ways to access an assignment, because sometimes for them, they can't open one thing. Or if they open it up on an iPad, it looks different than if they open it up on a laptop. So different ways to things, or if they, some of them are using their phones. So, make it so they can get to it there easily. And lastly, expect to spend some time with students, right? Because they're also sometimes having technological problems. So sometimes you have to just spend time and walk them through step by step. Okay, did you do this? Okay, now did you do this? Okay, and spend that time individually with them. If you can do it outside of class, that's always great. Do a one-on-one Zoom, or if you're using Teams or whatever platform that you're using with them. But if not, spend some class time, right? Doing that. So, all right. Well, hopefully I gave you some helpful things that will keep you going when things don't work out. And things will not always work out. And if you just kind of go in with that mindset, kind of always kind of have that thought, all right, if this doesn't work, what can I do instead? How can I make this work? It will give you peace of mind. And like I said, sometimes a plan B doesn't work. You got to go to plan C. Plan C doesn't work, plan D. And if all else fails, have a couple of YouTube videos that are just really funny, and you can watch that with your students, and that put everybody in a better mood. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me talk with you today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentation.